Alright everyone, so today I wanted to tell you guys about an absolute gold mine for easy to get gems, and this is probably going to be, I would say, between 25 to 50 or so gems for most people, maybe a little bit more for some, a little bit less for others, but it's going to be different depending on the circumstance that you're in, and you'll understand what I mean by that in just a second here. But I think this is actually a part of the game that not enough attention has really been brought to, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint here, and then we'll dive right into it, but it actually has to do with Fort Solgris. That's right, it has to do with Fort Solgris, and it actually has to do with all the variety that we actually have here. And if you don't know what it is by the hint, that's totally fine. I'm going to jump into the actual achievement page here and talk about a very important section of the achievement page. And if you guys are wondering, it's not the actual boss battle part. I know there's been plenty of videos talking about that already. I'll obviously cover that a little bit, but the main part of the achievements that I want to focus on, where you can get a ton of super easy to get points, is actually going to be in the third tab right here. Now, the reason why I said Fort Solgris is a hint is because you can actually end up getting achievements and achievement points for every single variation of every dungeon in Fort Solgris. So going back here, you will end up getting achievement points for, health enhance. Then there's a whole separate achievement point system for health evolve. A whole separate achievement system for strength enhance, strength evolve, and then a whole separate system for speed enhance and speed evolve. And it gets even better because for the eyeball dungeons here, you've got 3 different versions. Well, there is a separate achievement system for all 3 of those versions there as well. And last but not least, there's also a whole separate achievement point system for the actual gold dungeons. So if I can do my math properly here, we've got 6, we've got 3, and then we've got 1 there. So there's 10 separate counters for all these different SP dungeons. And another really awesome thing about this is the actual breakpoints, which is when you're actually awarded the achievement points. It's in pretty small intervals, and I'll just show you guys my catalog here so you can see as an example. I know the absolute maximum is 1200 because I've actually gotten to there on a couple of dungeons, I think only 2, Strength Evolve and HP Evolve. I actually started off with HP because I thought that was the fastest. Turns out I was wrong on that one, but hey, that's why I make a lot of these videos, is so that you guys don't have to make the same kinds of mistakes that I did. But going back here, you could see it goes all the way up to 1200, but the breakpoints are in small increments. So I know there was one at like 25, 50, 75, 100, and then the next one, I don't think it jumps to 200. It might even go 125, 150, or either way, it'll go 125, 150, 150, 175, 200, and then it only goes up and jumps of 50, because I just got this one right here for HP Enhance, and it was at 250. So then it goes up to 300. Either way, like on the journey for every single one of those SP dungeons up to 1200, you're going to get a lot of achievement points. And obviously, the achievement points are going to help you progress towards whatever gem counter you're on. So, obviously, if you are newer and still haven't gotten a lot of achievement points, this might end up being more for you than somebody who's kind of at the point that I'm at. But either way, I'm still looking at an insane amount of achievement points and a very good payoff of gems when I actually work through this. Now, my recommendation here is what I like to do when it comes to all these SP Dungeon achievement points is, you might be wondering, like, what's the best time to really work on this? Is it going to actually be during the half stamina event for books or for the SP Dungeon? And the answer to that is, surprisingly for me anyway, I think it's not, because when we have the half stamina events for the SP Dungeon, I want to make sure to get in as many runs in that 48-hour window as possible. And I know for me, that's going to be Strength Evolve, right? That's what I go to. I can clear it the fastest. It's faster than anything else, except maybe, I guess, Strength Enhance. But everything else is going to be slower. So if I work on getting these all done during the half stamina event, then I'm actually taking away from how much I could actually farm when it comes to red books. So what I actually personally like to do, and you don't have to do it exactly the way that I do, but I'm all about efficiency and min-maxing, is I'm working on this kind of stuff kind of like when my stamina is building up. I've done all my dailies, bodies. I've done all the stuff that I need to do. I've worked on my PvP. You know, I've essentially done everything, but I'm still getting stamina to pile up. And it's just something to kind of work on draining my stamina while also getting points working on gems. And on top of that, you're still actually getting all the really useful resources from the SP dungeon as well. So either way, you know, this is something you absolutely want to be aware of and kind of working on, especially in those earlier levels where you're going to rack up an insane amount of achievement points. So that's one thing right there, but that's not the only thing that I wanted to actually cover in this video. The next thing is let's actually head over to PvP here. There is a ton of, you know, gold mine gems worth of achievement points in the achievement system that you might not necessarily even be fully aware of, or at least not how to completely maximize it. Now, obviously, PvP is a really big, important part of the game for many different reasons. But what I wanted to do is give you guys a friendly little reminder here that, like, what if you get to a point where you're stuck? I'm sure a lot of people are there, and maybe you're not really that motivated to actually continue PvPing, and you kind of just let your PvP stamina getting to max, and, like, you know, you're stuck, you don't really care, you're not going to be getting the wins for all the extra coins, so, you know, what's really the point? And I want to answer that by saying you should still probably go and work on PvP, even if you are 100% expecting to lose. Now, you want to make sure to do this properly, but the reason is, in the actual achievement system, there is going to be a ton of achievements directly related to PvP. And you're going to have your geared version, and you're going to have your ungeared version, right? So one of them, the most important one, is participate. And that doesn't matter whether you get a win or a loss, you're going to get the credit for that. And that one is not only going to actually end up giving you achievement points, but it's also going to end up giving you gems as you progress through it. Then you also have the win and the loss version here, and you can see one of those gives you gold, one of them gives you enhancement stones, but even though those ones don't give you gems, they still actually give you achievement points to fill up. So my suggestion is, what you want to do is, if you get stuck, when it comes to ungeared, just make sure that you're at the bottom of whatever threshold that you're at. Like, you know, you can't actually derank through the various different tiers, right? So if you're in Champion 5, you're not going to derank into Master. So as long as you're, like, at the very bottom of the barrel for the tier that you're in, that is totally fine. And even if you're expecting a loss, still make sure to drain your PvP stamina so you're working on those achievements. Now, when it comes to geared, a little bit different. You probably don't want to, you know, force yourself a bunch of losses unless you're at the bottom of gold 4. But either way, you know, make sure that you're putting that stamina to use. Now, really importantly, though, I've actually gotten this question before. Should you just go in and auto forfeit? And I would actually highly recommend doing this, because I've heard, you know, reports that there is some sort of automatic abuse system ban set in place. I don't know if it's in place for ungeared, but I definitely do know that it is in place for geared, because it's, you know, kind of their way of helping solve the problem of people staying with a really high combat class at the bottom of gold 4 and then forfeiting to stay at a low ranking, while also farming people with low combat class to get the wins for all the PvP coins. So I would not automatically forfeit if I were you. You know, if you are pretty sure that you're going to lose, just play out like maybe a turn or two and kind of see where the match is actually going. Just be careful about that abuse system ban thing that they actually have there. So that's the actual PvP and all the points that you can get from there. And that kind of ties up everything here in the tab 3 category. But there's a couple of other important things. Actually, you know what? I think the boss battle stuff is also in tab 3. Tab 3 is just absolutely crazy when it comes to your achievements. So yes, this is also all of the boss battle deathmatch stuff. Not going to get too much into this in detail, because there is a million videos already out there of people saying all the gems that you can end up getting from this. And yes, it is important. There's a lot of gems and a lot of achievement points that you can get from these deathmatch and boss battle specific achievements. But just really simply here, what they are for boss battles, you have a variation of beating boss battles without dying, and then you have a variation of beating boss battles solo, but you can bring a friend unit. So I guess you could think of it as your solo unit and then your friend unit, so actually I guess a duo. And you have to keep in mind, though, that for this, they increase in difficulty, and you want to make sure that you actually claim your reward before you go to the next difficulty, because if you don't, you know, if you finish the normal one and you don't claim the reward, even if you do the hard one, you're you're not going to end up getting credit for it. So really important for pretty much all achievements. I would always check if you've got the little exclamation point. Make sure to just claim your achievements anyway, so that if you do end up completing another one and not even realizing it, you're getting credit towards it. So that's the one for boss battles. Death matches are defeat the death matches without dying. Defeat a death match without a second team, so just your units and not with somebody else's. And same thing, they're going to go up in order. So you want to make sure to do the normal ones, collect a reward, do the hard ones, collect your reward, and then, of course, worry about the extreme ones. So lots of gems and achievement points there as well. Also, little advice I can give you guys is, if you really need, like, emergency gems, right? And I only say this as emergency gems here. The ones where it's win a battle... if it's solo, what you can actually do, and I only recommend this if it's an emergency, is you can use one gem. Like, if you do die because you can't complete the match, you can use one gem to revive and then complete it and get the gems from the achievement. Now, you're paying a price, obviously, so you're paying like one gem to get the 3 or 4 from the achievement, which is why I say you probably don't want to do that unless it's an emergency, but, the option is there. If you do that, though, just make sure that if you do revive, there is a 100,000% chance that you're going to complete it, because it would be absolutely tragic to spend a gem to try to get a couple of gems and then not get anything at all. So just be careful about that. All right, so I think that does actually conclude everything in the third tab now. So a couple of other little things about the other tabs here. Tab 3, obviously the big one. Tab 4 is also important because you can get a lot of really easy achievement points just by coin shop purchases. Like, buy some of the cheap stuff, kind of knock out the early ones for all those easy to get achievement points. And then I think, let's see, you also have like some miscellaneous stuff here, like vendor purchases. Just make sure you're doing things like buying food from the regular village vendors. This should knock out most of these achievements here. But, if you haven't done some of them, there's a lot of potential. Opening up village chests, that's a miscellaneous one there that you can work on. I think that's everything there in tab 4. And then tab 1, this is an important one for like cosmetics and just anything related to your own heroes. So just slowly accumulating cosmetics is going to be working on all of these achievements here. You can see they give you a decent amount of points. So, if you don't really have to go too far out of your way to work on getting some cosmetics, even for units that you might not necessarily use a lot, keep in mind they are in a way kind of giving you gems by giving you those achievement points. So you've got that. You've also got everything related to like, the heroes overall, like evolving, ultimate move, awaken, and stuff like that. Some stuff related to gold, and this is more cosmetic stuff right there. So that's everything in tab 1. And the last one is the smallest list here. Tab 2, this is just everything related to equipment. So, acquiring equipment, awakening, enhancing, all that sort of stuff. By far, though, out of everything that I mentioned, Tab 3 with the Fort Solgris stuff and all the potential there, the PvP stuff and all the potential there, and the deathmatch and boss battles, like easily this is the gold mine right here for achievement points in order to end up accumulating all of these gems. So anyway, I've thrown an insane amount of info at you guys in the video today, so I'm going to leave it here, and I really hope that you guys were able to put this info to good use. So if you did enjoy the video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to leave a quick like as well. It means more than you can imagine, so thank you so much for all of you guys, or to all of you guys who decided to do that. And more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross global videos should be popping up on the screen right about now. Feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, take care everyone, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.